guy.
I'm just an average workaday guy.
Thomas, and it could be worse. Like fatal.
The real achievement is our creation of the first human clone.
In time, we will clone the entire world. In time, we will clone all the great leaders of the world. The destiny of mankind will be in Cocktail's hands.
Kruger. Evil man.
It is not peace we are interested in, Penfold. Money is made in war, and Cocktail is interested in making money.
CIA, FBI, private investigator? Who?
I'm just an average workaday guy. Would like to give you some help.
Help me? What do you mean?
Oh, it's been fun, and I really like you. But now it's time for some straight answers. Salute.
Salute? Hardly. Any particular subject you want to talk about?
Documents. Secret, highly sensitive documents.
What about them?
A cabinet of secret files was penetrated from the Greenhaven Institute. Probably photographed. And since you're the secretary to the chief of security, you're the only one who had access to the area?
Sounds like I'm in real trouble. Still, if you had any kind of proof, you would have been arresting me last night instead of kissing me.
Maybe while you were sleeping, I was doing my homework.
Just an average workaday guy. Thomas, maybe you're not the gentleman I thought you were. I suppose I might as well tell you the truth.
You'd be doing yourself a favor.
Yeah, maybe getting myself killed.
I could offer you protection. Come on, tell me. Who are you working for?
Choose. A woman. By the name of Dr. Meredith.
You get in the house and lock the door.
Okay.
Hey!
This won't hurt a bit.
Sloane.
It just doesn't seem possible that a person can age 50 years in 5 minutes' time.
I'm afraid it is, Doc. For the last 3 years, Dr. Meyerhoff of Greenhaven Institute has been experimenting with the hormone that controls human growth. Used correctly, it could prolong human life and be the utmost benefit to everyone.
Used incorrectly, it can do this.
That only serves to confirm our suspicions. Dr. Meyerhoff's files were photographed. His formula has fallen into the wrong hands. Thomas, were you able to find out anything from Paula Craig before they got to her?
Only that she's working for a woman named Dr. Meredith.
Effie, does that name mean anything to you?
According to my instant data scanner, there are 22 Dr. Merediths practicing on the West Coast alone. But there is a Dr. Karla Meredith on the staff at Greenhaven Research Institute.
That's more like it.
Thomas.
For a moment there, I thought you'd forget all about me.
You know, I could never do that. In fact, I even have a little present for you.
My initials and everything.
Mm-hmm. But in this case, the S stands for sharp.
Sharp.
Checkmate. Only 118 degrees in here. Is there something wrong with the heating system, Pinfold?
No, not that I'm aware of, Mr. Kruger.
But you're aware that I insist that it be 120 degrees all the time. Not 118, not 121, but 120.
I'll make the correction right away, sir.
Now this Mr. Sloane, Karla.
We didn't expect him to be there.
You have to learn to expect the unexpected. I wonder how much she told him.
She knew nothing of our plans.
But she did see what she photographed.
She photographed some cryptic notes. Chances are she had no idea it dealt with Meyerhoff's growth hormone project. Besides, Hans, the growth hormone is just one stage. The real achievement is our creation of the first human clone, something my own research team at Greenhaven doesn't dream we've actually accomplished.
A secret I would advise you to protect, Karla, as though your life depends on it. It's time.
There you see the Secretary General greeting Premier Eduardo Santana of El Domingo.
I think Miguel should be watching this.
Premier Santana has clearly emerged as the leader of the non-aligned nations, and perhaps the key to the future of our relationships with those foreign
Miguel,
countries.
I would like you to meet the man from whose cells you've been cloned.
After a brief conference, Premier Santana will leave for a 3-day cross-country tour of the United States, culminating with a visit to Los Angeles, where he will crown the winner of the Queen of Peace Beauty Contest.
As each of these orchids, cloned from a single plant, are identical in every way, you, Miguel, are identical to Premier Santana. Not even his own family or his closest advisors could tell you apart. And in less than 3 days, you will take his place.
And my first duty will be to turn the non-aligned nations against the United States.
No! Your first duty, my obedient clone, will be to do exactly as Cartel tells you. Is that understood? Of course it is.
Joanna Miller?
Who are you?
Well, my name's Thomas Sloane. I'm with the law firm, Goldsmith and Donahue.
Yeah, well, what do you want with me?
I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about Dr. Karla Meredith, since you're the head of the personnel department. Thought you might be able to give me some information.
Well, if you want to know anything about Dr. Meredith, I suggest you ask her.
But you don't seem to understand. My firm represents the estate of Winston Meredith, who passed away a few weeks ago in San Francisco. Do you know who he is?
No, should I?
Well, he happens to be one of the richest men in the United States. He left an estate of about $90 million.
90? 90 is in 9-0?
Give or take a mil. And I'm trying to find out if Dr. Meredith is a possible heir.
Well, then don't you think you should be talking to Dr. Meredith instead of me?
Yes. But Dr. Meredith isn't here. Now, if I could look at her personnel file, I could find out who her parents are, where she was born, see if there's a possible family tie.
I don't think so.
Well, I could get a court order. But I'm due back in San Francisco in a couple of hours. Means I'd have to come back down here again. You could do me a big favor. You might help her, too.
Okay.
Once again, the unexpected.
Why don't you wait right here?
Oh, all right.
Mr. Kruger, we've been looking all over for you.
Sorry, Iris, my name isn't Kruger.
Well, what's in a name anyway?
Just wait a minute.
5 seconds is more like it. Take him to surgery.
I promise this won't hurt a bit, Mr. Sloane. Mr. Sloane, you're about to donate a small gland in your neck. Unfortunately, it's going to leave you dead.
That gland. I guess you needed to manufacture Dr. Meyerhoff's growth hormone.
That's our business.
Your partner wouldn't be cartel, would it?
I'm afraid that's something you're never going to know.
A long time for him to go under.
Increase the anesthesia.
He's going under.
Good. Let's get started.
Like fatal.
It's exactly 120 degrees, sir.
Excellent. If only it could be this comfortable outside. Perhaps someday.
Hopefully, sir.
Who, sir, do you think will be Queen of Peace?
It's not peace we are interested in, Penfold. Money is made in war, and cartel is interested in making money.
Of course, sir. You're absolutely right. Absolutely.
Mr. Kruger, welcome to the Harlington Hotel. I think you will find that your arrangements have been carried out according to your every wish. Flowers, a choice menu starting with pâté de foie gras and white truffles, and of course the finest caviar and naturally vintage champagne.
Exactly what I expected. At this point, I'm more concerned with securities and cuisine. We don't want anything to happen to Premier Santana at the function I am sponsoring.
Well, you can rest easy on that account, sir. I had a meeting with Premier Santana's security officer this morning. He'll be staying in the presidential suite.
And his entrance to the beauty pageant?
The entrance to the private elevator is located just inside that door.
Good. I can see you have everything well in hand. Now, Pinkford, if you feel you can tear yourself away from the lovely candidates, begin to feel a chill.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ladies. That's all for now.
I told you, Thomas, all I know about the Greenhaven Institute is that they're involved with various medical and scientific research projects, which I might point out is more than I know about you. Now, what is all this about missing heirs? Come on, what do you really do? Besides almost getting yourself killed.
Would you like a potato chip?
Thank you. But this does not get you off the hook. I still want an answer.
Me too. Who is he?
Who is who?
Your man. Pretty thing like you has to have a man.
Uh-huh. Well, if you really want to know, his name was Ted. I met him playing tennis. We had a lot in common. I thought I knew everything about him.
Except he was married.
Right. 2 years in August, the rat. Which brings us to another very important question.
No. I'm not.
Not even a little? Not even on weekends, holidays?
Not even on weekends or holidays.
I'm sorry, Thomas. I guess I'm just bitter. Damn it, it hurt.
You'll get over it.
Thanks. Okay, now what can I do for you? Within reason.
Help me find Dr. Meredith. My sources tell me that she left the Greenhaven Institute right after we did.
Have you tried her home?
Can't find her home. Find an address.
You know, Thomas, I remember a couple weeks ago, I had to deliver some papers to her at a home on Royal Canyon Drive.
You remember the address?
Yes, you're going to love me for this. It was 660 Royal Canyon Drive.
Royal Canyon Drive.
What do we have on it?
We've got Hans Wilhelm Kruger II.
Munitions king?
At first glance, it appears quite innocent. The Kruger Family Foundation has substantial funding for the Greenhaven Research Institute.
And at second glance?
Appearances can be deceptive. His father was convicted as a war criminal. He was released through powerful under-the-table dealings. His munitions factories were restored to him. He wasn't mourned when he died a few years back. The son, Hans Wilhelm Kruger II, is said to be no improvement in the father.
Sounds like a first-rate family.
I'd take care if I were you, Thomas. We've often suspected a cartel connection. I've assigned unit agents to keep an eye on the place. Of course, we prefer to have an inside view. By the way, they say he's a devotee of the orchid plant. They say he even grows them in his house.
Interesting. I've always been fond of the orchid.
How have you enjoyed your stay in Chicago, Premier Santana?
Es una ciudad... Excuse me. It's a beautiful city. A little windy, but beautiful.
Mr. Premier, I understand you'll be crowning the beauty queen of peace in Los Angeles.
I have a feeling that will be the highlight of my trip.
I have a feeling you're right, Premier.
Thank you for coming. Good day.
It won't be long now, Miguel, before the entire world will address you as Premier Santana. And the beauty of it is you are only the beginning. In time, we will clone all the great leaders of the world. The destiny of mankind will be in cartel's hands. That is cartel's hands, Miguel. As for you, Karla, by all the rules of simple efficiency, Thomas R. Sloane should no longer exist. I am beginning to worry about you, my dear. You had him on your operating table, but he was allowed to escape.
How was I to know he had help?
Spare me the lame excuses. They are not but built the Kruger Empire. It is a rule we have never departed from. If we have a threat to our security, we remove it. There are no exceptions to that rule, even Mr. Sloane. He will make a mistake, and when he does, I will be waiting. The Department of Agriculture. That is what my man told me, did he not? That you are from the Department of Agriculture?
Yes, that's right.
What business would your department want with me?
I was told that you had some unusual orchids, and I'm glad to see that my information wasn't incorrect.
This information, may I ask where it came from?
I'm a Dr. Karla Meredith.
Meredith. I'm afraid I'm not familiar with this name.
She worked for one of your corporations, the Greenhaven Institute.
The Kruger Foundation sponsors so many worthy causes. I cannot possibly keep track of them all, let alone the employees.
This particular employee receives her mail at this address.
That is possible. She could have been consulting with one of my executive secretaries concerning some financial matter or other. But I assure you, I personally have never met this Dr. Meredith.
Those orchids are truly magnificent. How do you account for their growth?
A good deal of time and dedication. But why would that interest the Department of Agriculture?
Well, Mr. Kruger, there's a Dr. Meyerhoff who's working at the Greenhaven Institute on a top-secret hormone project for human beings. The same formula is applicable for plants, making them grow far beyond their limits, much like those orchids.
Very interesting.
There's something else that's more interesting. That formula was recently stolen.
You know, you are beginning to sound more like an investigator of some sort than an agriculturalist.
And I've always thought of you as a munitions czar, as opposed to a horticulturist.
But I am. Orchids are only my hobby. Still, if you're really interested in knowing how I managed to grow these unique specimens, wait here. I will get you a sample of the nutrients I use. Well, it's better in the Bahamas. I have to apologize. Apparently, there was a malfunction in the heating system.
The doorknob wasn't working either.
Well, those things sometimes happen. There. Here's the ingredient I promised you. Feel free to have it analyzed.
I'll do that. I think we'll be seeing each other again. You know, you never asked my name.
That is because I already know it.
A man called Sloane will return.
Street hopes for a green Christmas, a report at 10.
The tissue and blood samples Torque found in Kruger's lab have given us quite a hypothesis. Kelly?
Well, we did the whole battery of tests, A to Z. Bottom line is, the blood and tissue appear to have come from a clone.
A clone?
A man, medium, tall, well-toned physique, and if that isn't weird enough for you...
We've isolated the biological acceleration factors. The tissue is only 4 days old.
A man only 4 days old.
Anything strike you as odd, Thomas?
No. I think that's perfectly normal. On the other hand, maybe I better have a talk with Dr. Karla Meredith.
We've got our surveillance people out. I'll let you know when they call in with the location on Dr. Meredith.
I am concerned about Thomas Sloane because I'm concerned with detail. Cartel expects that Premier Santana will be replaced by his clone at the beauty pageant. And nothing, no one must jeopardize that expectation.
No, I suppose not.
Then why is it I detect a certain amount of hesitancy, my dear?
About Thomas Sloane, I have no hesitancy at all. But about this girl, Joanna Miller, why do we have to go after her? She's no threat, certainly.
But our Mr. Sloane is, and he is still out there somewhere and dangerous. We will therefore take the girl, hold her as hostage, and thereby neutralize him. He will risk his own life, but he will not risk hers. Chivalry is alive and well in Mr. Sloane, I feel.
And after you pulled it off with Miguel at the pageant, naturally, you can't just let her go. So naturally, you'll just have to kill her, won't you?
Dear doctor. Perhaps we are losing sight of what is really important here. Surely you of all people know that the price of scientific progress is often unpleasantly high.
And pleasantly rewarding. But Hans, you've been receiving the lion's share of credit for this project, while I've been relegated to doing the dirty work.
My dear, in all wars, there are generals and junior officers.
Fine. But I was the one who romanced Santana's personal physician and got the cell from which we made our clone. Our clone.
A point well taken. And I assure you that cartel will reward your efforts accordingly. But you have been working night and day. I think what you need now is a bit of rest. Why don't you go relax? He will pick you up in time for the pageant.
I'm fine.
Nonsense. Go behave yourself. Go home and relax. In fault, I'm afraid she is going to need some special attention.
Do I arrange to have her killed?
I think not. We are too close to 0 hour to risk leaving more bodies around. You know what to do.
So. What? His name is Masters. He's an associate of mine. He's here to see that nothing happens to you.
Nothing happens to me? I almost died of a heart attack. I think you owe me an explanation.
All I can tell you is there's a lot at stake here. Dr. Meredith and the man she works for, Hans Kruger, they're up to something big. And they'll stop at nothing to get it.
Where do I fit into all of this?
You fit in by knowing me. That's why I'm going to make sure nothing happens to you.
Suppose that means I have to live with this friend of yours.
Come on, I'll introduce you to him.
Real glad I met you, Thomas.
Come on, Joanne. Come on. Masters.
But as I tried Mr. Kruger on the telephone, the private elevator that Premier Santana will be using has been carefully checked out. Once it leaves the presidential suite, it can't be stopped until it reaches the ground floor.
I'm sorry, but I'm only following Mr. Kruger's orders. He told me to inspect this elevator personally, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Well, you go right on and inspect it. It'll be down in a minute.
Okay, whoa! Whew. Nice. Whew. Hey, Masters, do you mind if I freshen up a bit? Unescorted.
My wife wouldn't have it any other way. Ma'am?
Yeah.
Are we going to be doing much more writing today?
No, just a couple more hours.
Yes?
Thomas, our people claim they've just pinpointed Dr. Meredith for us. According to them, she just entered Star of the East Meditation Center. Talk is already there.
I'm on my way.
On me, ma'am.
bad news. Joanna was kidnapped right out from under Master's nose.
Sorry to hear that, Thomas.
What about Dr. Meredith?
She's in there with her chauffeur.
Is there another way out?
Well, there's the back door, but we've got that covered. The surveillance man who saw them go in said that she was looking over her shoulder and acting scared, like she was running from someone.
Maybe that's what she's doing. Hiding out. Let's face it, she couldn't pick a better spot.
Thomas.
Guess I was wrong about hiding out. Dr. Meredith. I'd like to talk to you for a moment.
Oh, how do you do, young man?
I beg your pardon, gentlemen. The doctor has to go home now.
Just a minute. You are Dr. Karla Meredith?
I don't have many friends now.
If you don't mind.
From the Green Haven Institute?
Green Haven?
Dr. Meredith has been retired for the last 15 years.
I suggest you come up with a better one than that, friend.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't follow.
I think you do. Let's see some identification. Chauffeur's license.
If you notice this letter here is written on my behalf by Dr. Meredith's attorney. Between you and me, sir, he doesn't expect the doctor to last much longer. Hopefully, the reference will help me secure another position when necessary, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We've got an old limousine to follow.
What do we do about Joanna, Thomas?
The only thing we can do? Wait for a lead.
Salud. Que el futuro nos traiga paz y vista.
And now is the Premier Santana being welcomed here by his Consul General and by Representative Theobald. And now by the official...
That is probably the guest I've been expecting. Welcome to my home.
You know what you get for kidnapping, don't you?
In this instance, I should get most of the non-aligned countries of the world. But you care for the beverage? Miss... Dr. Meredith's here somewhere.
We can't call in the troops of Joanna's here. They'd kill her for sure. Delivery out here and no one to pay me.
Hold it!
Hey, what's the matter?
Turn around.
Now that's what comes from reading on the job.
This one we better finesse. Gotcha.
Am I glad to see you?
You okay?
Well, yeah, considering... Thomas, I was terrified they were going to come back.
Who, Kruger?
Yeah, and his friends. You know, there was one very strange when he was in a uniform, but I couldn't see him because he had his hat pulled down over his face. Thomas, look what they've done to her.
Yeah, we know. She got a taste of her own medicine. Do you have any idea where Kruger's headed?
No, none. Wait a second. I did overhear them say something about the main event, whatever that means.
Main event?
Mean anything to you?
We wish it did. Did you say one of those guys had on a uniform? A military uniform?
Well, I think so. But I don't know what kind.
They have one shot left. Dr. Meredith?
Thomas, she's very old.
Dr. Meredith. I'm with the medical journal. Do you think we could talk a little bit?
Medical journal? I'm a physician, you know.
Oh, I know. And you had a brilliant career.
My career. So long ago, all that.
But your experiments, the experiments with Hans Kruger, certainly remember that.
Kruger. Evil man, that Kruger. Took his dead son's identity, you know. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. But if he was that old, how did he look so young?
My formula. His body temperature, it kept it very high. He was close to 100 years old when I knew him.
That's why that den was like an oven all the time.
Doctor, what about the experiments with cloning, the cloning formula?
So long ago, Kruger abused my work. The cloning. All those killings.
What killings? What cloning?
The very first clone, he replaced Santana.
Santana? That's the name of that South American premier that's here now. And he wears a uniform.
Doctor, when Kruger replaced Santana with a clone, where did he do that?
At the pageant. The beauty queens of peace. So clever. He fooled the world that day.
Thomas, that day is today. That beauty pageant is now.
A lo mejor los discursos de la política extranjera se deberían hacer al aire libre y en presencia de mujeres bellas y elegantes. A lo mejor el mundo sería un lugar mejor para mi vida.
You know, according to the schedule, Santana isn't due to speak for another 15 minutes. Let's hope they haven't already made the switch. We better get to our house phone.
You know, Hernandez, I'm having a good time. I'm a little tired, but the food, something is wrong.
Muchas gracias. He just left his suite. He'll be at the basement entrance.
which one he is, before or after. They have made the switch. They still have to get Santana out of the hotel. Yeah, but how?
This whole place is decorated with white roses. All of a sudden, there's two guys pushing a man-sized container marked orchids.
And we do know of someone who's a devotee of the orchid.
Hotel security. We'd like to take a little look inside, if you don't mind.
Hey, they're just orchids.
The water's cold.
He died of old age.
Thomas Remington Sloane, you were right.
About what?
About what you said. About the fellow I told you about.
Oh, yeah, that married man. What was his name?
Gee, what was his name? I seem to have forgotten. Thanks.
Oh, I knew it was too good to be true. Torque, the director wants us, huh?
You got that right, Thomas.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry.
This is Ted Knight. Because of the tremendous rush of Christmas mail, my invitations won't reach most of you until it's too late. Therefore, I'd like to invite you, your family, and all the freeloaders hanging around through the holidays to join me when I host Saturday Night Live with Andy Kaufman and my musical guest Desmond Child in Rouge. That's Saturday Night Live, 11:30, 10:30 Central Time on NBC.